Roblox developers are what keep the platform alive, because if you think about it, if nobody made games anymore, what would there be left to play? In over 17 years, Roblox has seen some of the most beloved and hated developers. In today's video, I will explain the Roblox developers iceberg. If you don't know what an iceberg is, let me explain. An iceberg video is where a person lists different topics in a set of tiers, the top being the most well-known and the bottom being the most unknown. Without further ado, let us begin. UglyBurger0 is one of the most well-known developers today. He's the creator of SCP-3008, which currently sits upon over 2 billion visits. His other games are just different versions of SCP-3008. For example, 3008 but 100 players, 3008 but 700 players, and 3008 4121, which is just an April Fool's game. UglyBurger has also done soundtrack work. He's done OSTs for his own game, a game called Running for the Internet, and the new music for Identity Fraud. UglyBurger0 is so well known because of how different and creative his games are. SCP-3008 is a sandbox game which makes it very replayable, and I'm hoping for more updates in the future. Stickmaster Luke is one of the most famous Roblox players in general. He has created maybe the most famous Roblox game ever, which is Natural Disaster Survival. He has also created other games, for example, The Underground War and Cube Eat Cube. The fact that he was able to keep this amount of fame on Roblox ever since the early days is honestly amazing. Stickmaster Luke also owns some of the most expensive items ever. These include the Dominus Infernus, the Dominus Frigidus, and what he currently wears, the Dominus Emprius. Because of the never-ending popularity of Natural Disaster Survival, he will remain one of the most recognizable Roblox developers. Minitoon is mostly known for creating the game Piggy, which is a game inspired by Granny, but with Peppa Pig characters. Around 2020, this is one of the most popular games on Roblox. Right now, Piggy has over 12 billion visits, which makes it one of the most visited Roblox games, period. But currently, it has had a bit of a downfall compared to what it used to be, but it's still a very well-made game, and I'm sure Minitoon doesn't care because he's making millions off of Roblox toys and game passes. He also has other games also. These include SCP, Containment Breach, and Iron Assault. These are the two developers behind Jailbreak. Jailbreak is easily one of the most recognizable games ever also. BadCC is the programmer for the game, and Osmo is the builder for the game. Fun fact, Jailbreak was so popular that it paid for BadCC's college. That is actually insane. And on December 23rd, 2017, Jailbreak broke the all-time record for the most concurrent players at 121,000, which was originally held by the official 2017 Roblox Egg Hunt. This game has around 7 billion visits and currently has over 20,000 people playing it at the time of recording. These two developers are some of the most important in Roblox's history because of what they achieved. Zeekers is a developer who used to make games on Roblox. Some of his games are Lightbulb, Silent Dark, They Breathe, and A Lucid Dream. Around 2019, Zeekers made the jump to Unity to start creating standalone games. And as of recent, Zeekers is one of the most popular indie game devs out there, creating games like It Steals, Lethal Company, and many more great games. The games by Zeekers are usually really amazing, and I highly recommend giving them a play. OneDev2 was a game developer joining Roblox in July of 2008. He is most remembered for his game called Welcome to the Town of Robloxia, created on January 15th, 2010. This game was a role-playing game where you could have various jobs and interact with other players. The game was very successful, racking up 20 million place visits over the course of 2 years. But following the 2012 April Fool's hacking incident, OneDev2 will be terminated and forced to create another account. We'll get more into this incident later. OneDev2 then created the account OneDev3 and created a new game called Robloxity, which followed the same premise. This game got hacked multiple times, with people posting the image of the girl from The Exorcist, which is just kinda weird. But at this point, the OneDev3 account has been inactive for 2 years. Jared Veldez 4 is one of the most infamous Roblox users ever. The reason is because of plagiarism. He would copy games, groups, clothing, and more. He had gained around 162 million place visits copying games, which made him one of the most hated Roblox users in history. Jared was terminated in 2012 after allegedly creating a website called faceblocks.com, where he stole a lot of the company's logos and GUI. Jared now has a YouTube channel where he posts once in a while and has apologized for everything. Julius Cole is kinda like Jared Velez, except a lot more controversial. They're also kinda the same because Julius Cole's also used plagiarism. Julius joined Roblox of March of 2013, and he begun stealing games like One Devs 2, Welcome to the Town of Robloxia. He stole clothing and even models and claiming it as his own. He had many different accounts, and when you add up all the place visits, it would come around 40 million place visits, which is insane. He was terminated on May 16th, 2015, and all his other accounts then followed. He has a YouTube channel, but this time it isn't like Jared's channel. Julius makes bait videos to make people mad and get people to watch and dislike the video. He's just like Lisa Gaming before Lisa Gaming. Christina8787 was a user who joined in late 2008. Christina was a developer of a game called Club Christie, which had 200,000 visits. This game had a lot of stolen assets, as you can tell by the recording, which people did not like. She was a controversial user around this time and was terminated by Roblox for unknown reasons. The best answer that I could find was that she was an online dater, or an oder if you want to call it that. Because of this, she was disliked by many. Tremedy is known for creating and popularizing Adopt and Raise a Cute Baby. Tremedy joined Roblox in March of 2013 and quickly begun creating Roblox games. He was disliked for using free models in his games and making a profit using them. His games also used deceptive thumbnails that were not like the game at all, and he also had overpriced game passes. Adopt and Raise a Cute Baby at one point in 2016 had over 10,000 people playing it at once, which made it one of the most popular games on Roblox at the time. Tremedy had over 400 million place visits, but then was terminated on December 7th, 2017. Alyx Neutron isn't banned, but his game Meep City has gotten into a lot of drama, which makes his placement understandable. Alyx joined Roblox in December of 2007 and has been very active since then. He has over 15 billion place visits, which makes him the most popular developers ever. And his most popular games are Meep City and Dodgeball. Meep City has been hacked many times, and also Alyx is just kind of a weird person. I've heard that he's attracted to Yoshis. Okay, what the fuck? There's this whole video by Green Lego Cats that I highly recommend watching. It's all about the dark side of Alyx Neutron. I highly recommend it if you don't know the facts already. These three individuals were all involved in the 2012 April Fool's hacking incident. Ellernet would gain access to a Roblox admin account by registering an unregistered admin account onto the Roblox test websites. This website was used to test updates before they were put onto Roblox. So he took the cookies from that account on the test websites and put them onto the actual Roblox website, and then he gained access to the Roblox admin account. What followed was one of the most famous Roblox incidents of all time. Ellernet would post 2012 humor on the banners, and he would also get his friends iTrapped and Caleb to join in on the prank. Caleb would post inappropriate things on the forums and unban previous banned users, and iTrapped would change the prices of famous limiteds like the Dominus Infernus for 1 Robux, and famously releasing this unused face that has become very famous because of this event. These three users has been banned for good reason, but they've solidified themselves in Roblox's history. Nicorock5555 makes some of the most random and weird games I have ever played. You may have heard this developer because of the game called Rooms, which is the game that inspired Doors. Some of these games include Here, which is just a small town and then it just crashes your game. Do Not Disturb, where it's just Kurt Cobain's POV. You walk into your room and you get shot by a shotgun like in the movie Saw. And Save Red and Green from Scary, which I have played on the channel before. I don't really know what to expect from his catalog, which I find very cool, and I highly recommend giving these games a play. Acrylic Aorta is a group that contains lots of people who have playable games. Users like Abu Ventian, Winslow Homie, Graceland, and many more have games that you could play that are all very interesting. Like for example, a game called Sleigh Ride. At first glance, it looks like you're standing on a pile of shit, but in reality, the game is very eerie. Another game, I have no idea how to pronounce that, which takes place in a mine with PS1-like graphics. This group seems to be just a group of developers that make weird myth games that have no real explanation. At least what I always say from these games, if you find anything, please let me know. The Craftsman is a Roblox myth created on September 4th, 2020. This myth is about an alien who left his planet that was destroyed. The developer/myth has created 2 games, the first one called Necropolis, and the second one and most well-known one called Radio. Radio is another one of those games that remains a lobby for the other ones because of its portals scattered around the map. But the game Necropolis feels like a game Radio would have teleported you to. You spawn in a room with 2 people on the floor that one presumes to be dead. One person sitting up says, "Who could have done this?" And the exit get to this room needs a code, but I couldn't find it anywhere. There are many different portals in the game Radio that could use its own video, but because I have to keep these segments brief, I can't go into too much detail, so try the game out yourself. I've talked about 4Slug in my last Iceberg, but this time I'm going to go more in depth into his games. The games by 4Slug are Beach Day, A Dream You've Had Before, Symmetry, Secrets of My Red Park, and Your Last Thoughts at the End of Time. He is also involved in some group work. For example, the group NLM Capse has made some games. For example, Voices is where you can add your own sound ID and place it in this cave-like area, and a game called Nowhere, where you can collect bottles and various badges. The most interesting game that 4Slug has created is obviously A Dream You've Had Before. Placing your own images and text and hunting for rare badges in this weird environment allows for a lot of replayability, which is why I keep coming back to this game. He also has some games that just have no point to them, like for example Symmetry. I have no idea how he came up with this. I think it might be inspired by the Muse album cover, but who knows. 4Slug makes very interesting games. Hopefully we get more games by him in the future because they're super fun and interesting to play. I came across the Tides of Edna when I made my first video on Surreal Game Finder. The only game created by this group is just called Edna and is surprisingly beautiful. Nice ambient music with a rocky bridge, and this portal seems to be connected to this statue in the middle. After entering the portal at the end, it takes you to this place with stairs. Yet again, the game Edna seems to be another game with portals in it. There are very interesting games that you can find. What I noticed about this group is that all the games that you could teleport to are made by people in the group. In that case, these games can somehow all be related. Edna does remind me of Surreal Game Finder, except you don't know where it's going to take you. For example, the game I'm showing you now is called Finality. You spawn in this floating map with pillars and people surrounding the platform's edge. There is a weird floating orb above you with extra orbs floating around it in a line. Behind one of the statues you can find a black button, which spawns more areas to explore. The first button reveals an area with fallen pillars and a person named Collapsing. The second button reveals an area with numbers from 1 to 10 repeating with people around it. The third button reveals an area with a person saying, "Who are you truly?" Lastly, the fourth button reveals a house. In the house, the person is on their knees looking up at this shadowy figure. The shadow person is saying, "I will guide you to true happiness." It never explains what that means, and that's what I love about it. If you love exploring this side of Roblox and you want a completely random experience doing so, this game is perfect. I've played this game in a recent upload and also give Tides of Edna a good go because it won't disappoint. I've talked about Red Carkle 123 in the past, but this developer is a lot like Nico Rocks 5555 in a way. The only difference is that Red mainly creates horror games. He has a total of 35 and counting games, and they're all very interesting. One of my favorites so far would probably be Where the Music Plays. In this game, you walk into a house, and then the door slams behind you, and music instantly plays when it's nighttime. Shortly after this, the door opens and another house spawns. Repeat this a couple of more times until you walk outside again and you see 5 vinyl records next to the record player in the middle of the map. Pick the right one and you win. Pick the wrong one and you lose. Another favorite of mine is Forever, which does seem to be inspired by the PT Silent Hill demo. Some people in my comments will say, how are these games underrated or how are these games interesting? I understand where people are coming from because these are not stunning games. By the looks of it, correct me if I'm wrong, these games don't seem to have the same amount of effort as other horror games on the front page. The vibe of the games are what makes them scary, and the idea of the games are what makes them underrated. To me at least though. For example, I've never seen a game idea like Game before. Finding an unfinished game that holds dark secrets in it. It's ideas like that can make a game 1,000 times better, and that's what I love about them. Because there are so many games and you're wondering where to start, I'd recommend Hidden in the Mountains, Game, Eggmart, and Where Did the Time Go? But enough with my rambling, please check out this developer's games because they are awesome. We're beginning to take a little dark turn on this iceberg. Raikwa is a game developer that makes some pretty mysterious games. These games include Onkarak, Orchio-Yuki, White Willows, Scapophobia, Rejected Realism, and lastly, Memoria. The most popular game is Scapophobia. This game spawns you in a Japanese high school of some sort with all the lights off. You can make your way upstairs and you'll come across a lit room. Upon entry, it soon realizes that you are a victim of bullying. Text comes on the screen saying things like, "They caused you nothing but pain." A statue of some sort appears behind the bullies and kills them. And finally, it teleports you to another game, I believe that all these games are related in some way. They all have similar themes, which would make sense for them to be related. For example, the game Ankh Rak has a description that reads, "Nothing kills a girl faster than her own head," which can 100% relate to the bullying in scopophobia. So I recommend giving these a play and trying to uncover the mysteries. Also, if you find anything interesting, let me know, as always. Robotic is a developer that I actually forgot how I found. This developer is an owner of a group called the Nidus Corporation. This group has a game called Tick, and the game spawns you in this supposed endless chessboard with pawns near this tall tower. This tall tower has clocks on the front and eyes on the back. There's also doors at the bottom that could teleport you to other games created by people in the group. For example, the first game that I got teleported to was World Ori, created by Navity Divinity. This game seems to be related to Robotic's game called the Nidus Facility. You could join this game or be teleported by his other game, which remains at the starting area. These games are pretty interesting to play. They have no real explanation, which makes it very mysterious. I recommend checking out this group because it has more content than Robotic's catalog. There are a bunch of people in this group that have interesting games also. For example, a user like Disturb the Drouse has some pretty cool ones. You can also access this game through the game Tick also. You may have seen this group before because they've made a game that pops up a lot in the recommended page on Roblox. This group, created by the user Mothman, has created a game called Smile. This game has gathered over 20 million visits. This game's art style reminds me of the Mimic. It was made around the same time, so I think that explains it. I've also heard rumors that upon joining this game, your account will be banned, but obviously that's not true. I think. In this game, there are keys for doors, dark hallways, and loud noises. You know, the usual stuff for a creepy myth game. There are satanic symbols, interactive NPCs, and many more things. This game is very interesting, and if you enjoy fetch quest games, I think you'll enjoy this one. On to the other games by this group. The second game, This Place Does Not Exist, honestly has no point to it. It's just a very trippy game. The third game, called Our Room, where it's just a couple of rooms. I mean, that's what it's called. And lastly, Insignificance, where it's just a liminal space game. This group has a weird variety of games. From going to Smile to Insignificance is a weird switch up. But as always, give these games a shot and let me know if you find anything big. The first couple of games by the Vitreous are pretty normal. He created 2 gun games and 1 game where you just stare at a galaxy moving in circles. I'm having so much fun. I sit in the basement all day and play video games. But the main game we're talking about is Empty Sermon. I came across this game when I was doing research for my first Iceberg. I played it, didn't find anything, and then I didn't include it. But after the video I went up, I found a YouTube video on the game and discovered something very creepy. If you stand on this podium, your FOV will start to increase. When you do this for a while, this will happen. And that's it. That's the game. There isn't anything else. I find it weird how the developer created this game in 2014 and never updated it since then, and then after created nothing like it. It's either this game is a shitpost or an actual myth attached to it, but after some research, I couldn't find anything. At this point in time, the game is privated for an unknown reason, so now we just have to rely on the speculating footage of the game that still stands. The 100 Thieves Compound is a group created by Shuggy. The developer has 1 game on his page. The game is called... It literally has no name. The game though is just another one of those play a loud sound and crash the game. Haha, I'm so funny. I'm a little mad because it scared the shit out of me when I first played it. Onto the group now. In game number 1, you're inside of a red box, and whenever you move your camera, your screen will glitch, and at one point your game will crash. Game number 2 is just a sledding game. Weird switch, but okay. In game number 3, you spawn in a forest with a beam of light coming from the sky. Once touching the light, it will turn nighttime. You can see another beam of light in the distance, and when you get to it, your game will crash. In the 4th game description, it reads, "This is your own personal hell. Will you perish or survive? Only time will tell because you are not the only one alive. You are not alone." So we're off to a great start. You can talk to the smile on the wall, and he tells you that this person has a task for you around the corner. When you talk to him, this is what he says. If someone could translate this, that would be awesome. This game has many badges in it, and I really don't know how to get some of them. I got some, but just not all of them. Also, this group has a new game out called Ozor, which seems pretty cool, so you should check it out. I highly recommend exploring this group because they have a lot of interesting games, but make sure you have Task Manager out when you play them. Rinner East is a developer who has a total of 3 playable games. The first game is translated to Dimension 1, and it spawns you on a floating island with water at the bottom. You can find a lamppost with a different language on it, and if anyone could translate this, it would be great. You could come across this destroyed happy home model with a record player and a picture of this person on the wall. This person in the photo is on Rinner's friends list and is named Crippler and has a game with the same image. You could come across this area with a TV in the middle and Crippler's picture posted everywhere. Upon going into the TV, it takes you to Crippler's game. In this game, you sit down and an emergency alert happens, telling you to get to the lowest part of your house because of weather conditions. When you walk to this trap door, it takes you to the game Fear of Darkness. In the game, it's most likely our basement, and you walk down a hallway and you see a white light. You can walk up to it and the whole screen turns white, and that's it. So on to the next games. We're just going to call this game Rinner. You can see another person in the game called Zuka. You can walk down this hallway until you come across this dismembered version of yourself on the ground. This hallway leads you to a forest of some sort, and at the end of the forest there's a bright white light, and if you touch it, it yet again plays a loud sound, says the word freedom is death, and the game crashes. The last game is translated to Path to Dimension. You walk in this very large build of something, I don't really know. There are stairs that get you to the other side of the building, and when you get there, you'll find a glowing portal, but this time it doesn't play a loud sound, which is surprising. It teleports you to the first game, Dimension 1. This developer has a lot of friends on his friends list, so if you're looking for more to the story, go check them out. Okay, this is a really weird group filled with blue people, like the people from the Blue Men group who really scared me as a child. This group is created by Sentry, or his real name, Very Creative. This group has one game called Genre, and when you join it, you're met with, you guessed it, the color blue and some weird sounds. Sentry also has another group. This group is called Even More Creative. This time it's just a bunch of people wearing the Roblox visor, and their only game is called Wonderful, and it is nothing. There was nothing in the game. In this group, there is another group linked, and the group is called, I don't know how they come up with these names, guys. And this group has 3 games with the same thumbnail. The first one has a logo stuck on the ground. The second game has a glitching out effect, and the third game is just super laggy and colorful. Yeah, these games are weird. This myth is very disturbing, so viewer discretion is advised. Ostadia is a developer slash myth that is very disturbing and dark. The inspiration behind this myth is the song Polly by Nirvana off of their famous album Nevermind, released in 1991. The 6th track on the album is called Polly, and the backstory behind this song is very disturbing. According to Wikipedia, written about an abduction, rape, and torture of a 14-year-old girl returning home from a punk rock concert. According to this comment on my last Iceberg by Robloxian Kellen, it adds more to the song where the kidnapper eats her and ends his life. What the fuck? The game spawns you in this basement with the kidnapper playing the strings to the song Polly. You can find 3 tapes around the map, and they basically explain how he regrets it, says sorry to his friend, and how he's gonna end his life, which, you know. He also mentions some things about the circus, and we'll get onto that later. After you play the 3 tapes, the trapdoor above the ladder will open. It will take you to the upstairs. You could come across a note that reads, "So this is it. This is how it all ends. I'm sorry, Polly. I'm sorry, Adam." Polly being the girl he did this to, and Adam could be the person in this picture. Across from the person playing the guitar, there's a chair with ropes tied to it, and I think it's kind of obvious on what that was used for. You can also find a clown hat around these boxes. This could relate to him saying, "I just want to go back to the circus," as he said in the tape. Other games that relate to this myth are Circus in the West, where you can find him playing the guitar on a bench. In another game called Doc Mac's Therapy Home, you can find the clown hat once again. This myth is very interesting, and if you want to explore more games related to this guy, the games in his favorites are the best way to go. And if you're probably wondering why this isn't at the bottom, it's because a lot of this stuff is fictional. I know it's based on a real event, but this myth has a lot of things added to it. But this next tier has real events with real people and real developers. GameFam is a very large group or corporation that creates a variety of games. A lot of people like myself do not like this studio one bit. The reason why I don't really like them is because they added gambling targeted to kids, the corporate feeling of the group, And the topic of this tier, their mistreatment of their employees. According to Wikipedia, in December 2022, some of their former employees came out and stated that GameFam was underpaying their employees and overloading them with work. They also would lay off employees during the holidays, which was against the contract. Something that I saw that was very sketchy was that GameFam once posted an image of a new model of a Sonic character for their game, made by one of their devs. Little did people know that behind the scenes, the developer that made the Sonic model was fired for no apparent reason. If they were fired due to poor work, why did they showcase the developer's model on their Twitter account? GameFam is a very sketchy group. If you're planning on getting a job working for a Roblox group, maybe anything but GameFam is better. I've always wondered what the origin of condo games were. If you don't already know, condo games are games that bypass Roblox's moderation. They include adult content that no child should be exposed to. To explain this better, I think YouTubers like Mr. Obvious, Kaneko Kitten, and Notive would have enjoyed these games a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the name condos came from a user called Gamin Yonkers. This user had a game called The Condo, and it was very popular in the online dating community. At this point, the game has been banned for having an unfiltered chat. I'm guessing because of its popularity, the name Condo was given to any game with adult content inside of it. Games like these have been on Roblox for a long time. I found a video from 2013, which was 11 years ago. This game had female models asking for sex. That's it. If you ever come across a game like this, please report it. If you do this, you're helping many children not to be exposed by this type of games. Mr. Obvious. The man, the myth, the pedophile. He was a very well-respected user in the community until around June of 2017 when YouTuber RubenSim uploaded a video about Mr. Obvious being a pedo. Before this controversy, Mr. Obvious had won a Bloxy award for his animation skills. So at this time, he was a very well-respected and popular user. Mr. Obvious had groomed a 15-year-old girl, sending her inappropriate videos and images. But if you want the whole story of Mr. Obvious, please watch his RubenSim video. It has everything you need to know. Apeirophobia is a very popular game at the moment, but this game is the second version of Apeirophobia. In 2022, there was an older version that was owned by Monochrome Studios, but at this time, the game was moved to Polaroid Studios because of the developer being very racist. To be precise, there was 172 results of them saying the hard R. Damn. But after this controversy, the game was moved, but it didn't affect it because it's still one of the most popular backrooms games on Roblox. This one's going to be quick because this tier is pretty much all the same. Who Do Trust is a developer and UGC creator for Roblox. Who Do Trust's allegations were that they were yet again a pedophile. These included allegations of inappropriate pictures of people not of the age of other UGC creators. There's a great video by Green Lego Cat talking about the Roblox's cover-up of the situation, so go check that out. Dr. Rofatnik, aka Arnold Costello, was a Roblox developer who developed games like Sonic Eclipse Online, but on July 29th, 2022, he was arrested for sexual abuse crimes. What he did was he was with an underage girl on February of 2022 and paid an Uber driver extra money to drive her over to his house in New Jersey. What the fuck? This is most likely the first time a Roblox pedo was arrested, which is understandable because it happened outside of the platform. Dr. Rofatnik now faces life in prison and has been terminated on Roblox. This has to be the worst situation I've ever had to research. This is a developer that was known for many things. These games include developing a glacier map for Arsenal and, very ironically, a game called Grab the Child. The things that Mob Bucket was into are disgusting. He groomed minors with some of the worst things I have ever read, but overall, being an absolute fucking creep. I've never usually say things like this, but I hate this user so much. If you want to know more about this and see the messages, viewer discretion is advised. Watch this video. I've only seen it once, and I'll never watch it again. Jesus Christ. Okay, this video was really hard to make, especially during the final tiers, but it's finally over. I want to thank everyone for their support on the last Iceberg video. It means so much to me to get this amount of support after working so hard on the video. These were some of Roblox's weirdest and most disturbing developers out there. And like I said in the last video, there are still tons of developers that we've never seen before that are just as disturbing. So, if you ever come across developers like these, make sure to be careful. And some advice, don't be like anyone in the final tier. And as always, thanks for watching.